So Hardlight got a pretty nasty buff. The fundamentals now, whenever you get a elemental buff or debuff that matches the current type that it's on, so like for example, if I'm on Void, applying Volatile or like applying Weaken or getting Void Overshield, will make it so the fundamentals activate, and it gives you a nasty buff of 40%. So like 40% is a pretty big buff, especially on a primary. So it does make it very nice at just shredding through things. So Hardlight is honestly a very, very viable primary right now if you can keep up either some kind of buff or some kind of debuff. So let's build around that. The easiest thing by far is just Gerfalcon's Hunter, okay? Gerfalcon's Hunter right now is just really, really, really good with it. You're able to keep Volatile up basically all of the time. You can use it on Prismatic or with the Void subclass. It has a lot of like flexibility. For the purposes of this video, I'm definitely going to just kind of stick to Prismatic, because if you have the choice between like a pure subclass and Prismatic, 99% of the time, let's just be honest, you're probably going to be picking Prismatic. Are the pure subclasses good? Yes, in certain niche cases, you know, like Storm's Keep, for example. But, you know, for the most part, Prismatic's what if you have the choice, you're going to run Prismatic. But, again, you could run this on Pure Void. It does just as fine. It doesn't matter. So, we're going to use this with the Gerfalcons on the class item. If you just have the chest piece, just use the chest piece. That's fine, too. We're going to do it with Inmost Light so we can spam our abilities and have our Hardlight be juiced. It's just kind of the best of both worlds. There's a lot of really good things about this build. You're keeping up Volatile all the time. Hardlight's an exotic primary, so it already has, like, intrinsic bonuses to red bars. So that just makes it even better. And then you're using Volatile, which is like the best, just like general like weapon boosted perk, whatever you want to call it, weapon boosted augment. I don't know what you want to call it. It's just great for ad clear. It's great for ad clear. The weapon's doing a lot of extra damage. It's just good altogether. And the nice thing is Prismatic Hunter also already has a pretty good like ability kit as far as working with it. So it kind of works out well. You have good cooldowns on Hunter. If you can have Inmost on your class item too, it just makes them even better. And it also makes it to where you can get your darkness energy really easily. If you're using something like Threaded Spike, Threaded Spike, I can never remember the name of it. But Threaded Spike, like when you're using it along with your subclass, you're going to be getting a lot of darkness energy just from that alone. That thing does gen darkness energy really well. And then using Hardlight's getting your light energy just fine. So the thing is the build works very harmoniously. You don't really have to feel like you're like doing something else to make stuff work. You know what I mean? Like, that's always one thing that I always thought was like kind of annoying about, like, for example, like Consecration Titan. Like, depending on the weapons you had to use like certain weeks for like GMs or something like that, a lot of times you would rely on like Glacier Grenade to really be like your juice amp up for your darkness energy. If you ever had like a bad glacial or something like that, or a bad glacier grenade, sometimes it would feel kind of funky and the gameplay would kind of feel weird because your transcendence would come up at a weird time. That's not really something you run into with this. Threaded Spike's going to do fine. Even if you miss Threaded Spike, you can catch it. And if you're using, again, Heart of Inmost Light, you're getting it back quickly anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So with that being said, let's actually jump into the subclass a little bit. The subclass is pretty straightforward. There's not really much of anything you really need to worry about. Biggest things is you have Stylish Executioner on, and I'd say your two big go-tos for this is probably going to be like Facet of Purpose and Facet of Protection. Everything else is pretty flexible. If you want to change supers, if you want to change your abilities and stuff. The only thing is I do highly suggest, though, keeping that Threaded Spike on. Nothing wrong with keeping Threaded Spike on. But for the most part, everything's pretty flexible. It's really dependent on what your play style is, okay? So, like, for example, I'm using Magnetic Grenade. Maybe instead of Facet of Solitude, you may want to throw on, like, I don't know, Facet of Dominance so that that grenade does a little bit more. It's up to you. There is nothing saying you have to do one thing one way or one thing another. There's a lot of just great things going on with the subclass. Now, with the mods themselves, the mods are kind of, again, very up to you, but you definitely want to build into the fact that the fundamentals does stack with surges, so use at least a surge or two. There's no point in not. I use recuperation along with it, especially when I'm like running like the nether or something. A little extra healing is never like an awful thing, but you could always swap that out for a third void surge. Nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of good things as far as that goes. For me, for example, just to kind of see the breakdown of how I do it, I'm going to use 2 void siphons. I'm going to be making orbs with Hardlight all the time. I might as well be making like more juiced orbs, so I'm gonna use 2 of those. I'm gonna use heavy ammo finder because with exotic primaries, it makes it even better at making heavy ammo, so I'm having heavy ammo up very consistently. I'm using momentum transfer, impact induction, and focusing strike. All 3 of those are going to make it so my abilities come back even faster. They feed into themselves. And I'm using focusing strike specifically because threaded spike, again, is going to be something I'm going to have that up a lot more often than I'm going to have my nade up. So if I'm going to have it up, I might as well be getting some class energy back from it too. So you're going to really be feeding your class energy very quickly, especially with our artifact that we'll talk about here in a moment. Your resistance mods are kind of up to you. These are kind of my just general resistance when I'm just kind of doing whatever, but of course different activities require different things. Your surges, as we talked about before, and then if you want your surges to stay up, I definitely recommend you keep time dilation on, and again, you'll be getting your class ability back pretty quickly, so use powerful attraction. You might as well make it easier to get those orbs, and then everything else is kind of up to you. I use distribution because, again, I love abilities. Abilities is always going to be my big thing. Now, the last thing we're really going to focus on is your artifact. And the nice thing about the artifact this season is it's pretty much just, it's cracked. It's cracked for Void, and it works well with Hardlight. You have Void Flux. You have Maligned Harvest. I can never remember how to say it. And you have Volatile Marksman. Like, all of those things are going to be great at keeping your volatile up, helping you get it up, like if you're having like issues. That sounds weird. It's okay. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Like for volatile marksman, just as an example here, like sometimes you run out of abilities, sometimes you don't have anything to proc your falcons. Volatile marksman is there. Just get some headshots. There you go. You're good to go. You've got volatile back. You can continue the loop. There's a lot of just nice things with the artifact. So it's pretty straightforward. It's not like anything groundbreaking. It's not like it is anything that's gonna like absolutely shift the meta. Like don't misunderstand. This is not something that's gonna like carry you through everything and anything. It's fun and it's really good though. Like everything up to probably about like expert level stuff is gonna do just fine. Like I ran an expert lost sector with this at one point and it did fine. Like you're not going to like break the bank and go into like master salvation edge and like destroy everything, but it does well. It does great at what it does, and it's simple, and sometimes that's a good thing with a build. Sometimes it's nice when it's simple. Anyways, that's it for the video. Pretty straightforward, trying something a little different. If you all enjoy, please like, comment, all that fun stuff. Subscribe. You know, she left me, the kids are gone, you know, I would like at least something